We have some over your lens, yep.
Okay. No one's here anyway, so I could do a quick wipe.
That's pretty. Show people that.
It's still fuzzy.
Really? Use the right lens.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Grab it.
Maybe it got scratched. Well, that's not showing. I guess I didn't use the right lens. I don't know how to do that. Just gonna have this misty aura around us. There's Caleb Martinez. Hello.
What did the Congolans, what were they driving?
They were driving some kind of SUV. And let's see, there is the Greek Homestead. Hello. And Grace Acres. Shalom. Shout out to Grace Acres. David Carter. Hello from Utah. We went to a wedding recently of one of your estate's people. A lovely young lady named Hannah got married recently. So I don't know what's going on with my camera. It's kind of fuzzy. You guys can just see us with this misty aura. It makes us look not as wrinkled. Evelyn Vincent is a moderator. So you all need to behave yourselves. And I'm going to try to talk louder because I forgot my microphone. But apparently I mumble on these live streams. Pastor Joe does not. So I will try to talk loud. And there's Lone Star Living. Shalom! I saw Lone Star Living and several of you on the Forward Observer live stream, which I intended to watch all of it, but we were busy. And so I watched like the last 20. Well, it was only, 17 minutes long? I got there about 20 minutes too late. Fingerprint on the lens, says David Carter. I wiped the lens though, so I didn't wipe it correctly or something. Might be pool water, mist, smoke. Could be smoke, because we're going through part of the country where they're doing the wildfires right now to make the grass greener. We have been super duper busy the last 2 weeks. We've been to 2 weddings, not a funeral. Something else though. Oh, medical things. Seen our grandchildren. We've done many things, and we're still on the road. Obviously, we're not finished traveling yet. I'm having part of my breakfast jerky. I watched a bit of it, mostly just listened. Was working on sheep pasture fencing. Forward Observer made some really good points in there. First time I had been to that channel, so you're gonna have to forgive me if I don't understand all the intricacies of who he is and who his guest was. There's Aid, another moderator. Here, I got some for you. But his observation about Chinese guys getting killed by the Taliban and things like that, I thought was a very interesting take and very spot on. Let's see, Shalom from North Idaho, says Hunter Kirk.
God's country.
So, I think you all remember that when I went to Mayfield, I said that particular storm had rolled over Shofar Mountain. And when it was going over Shofar Mountain, while we were in the path of it, it was just a thunderstorm. I mean, it had thunder and it had lightning and it had rain and some wind, but it was nothing unusual. And it wasn't until we woke up the next morning and read in the news that it had spawned that tornado that it basically wiped out a huge part of Mayfield, Kentucky. Well, we were also very close to and went through a tornado in this area, which destroyed part of a small community like last night, like before last.
We saw some of the damage today.
We saw some of the damage today. I think he may have been sleeping, but I was still awake when that storm rolled through where we were staying.
I was awake. It was hailing.
It was hailing. There was that lightning that's like just flashes and flashes.
Well, that's terrible, that lens.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to clean the snot out of it when we're done. Just look. It gives us a youthful aura.
Something.
Like we're in a fog bank. Woo!
Remember that movie, The Fog? The
Yes.
pirates come out of the fog?
That was a really good,
That was a good movie. I liked it.
a good movie and a good idea for a movie, The Fog.
Or maybe The Mist. Might have been called The Fog.
Had pirates. I was thinking the same thing at David Carter. No doggy photo bombs? I was waiting for one of you guys to notice that. That was going to be a question.
We left them at Shofar Mountain with some other Shofarians.
I was going to say, this is a question for all of you more experienced live stream watchers. What is missing from this picture? But David Carter already noticed. Yeah, the big dogs are not on this trip with us. We've gone a while. Okay, so we were at the beginning and we're in the storm that also turned into a tornado. We were probably not more than about, what, 10 miles away or something?
Pretty close.
Terrible thunder, lightning, hail coming down, rain, torrential rain. And if you've ever been through a thunderstorm like that, you know what it feels like. We've been in a tent before camping many years ago when one of those things came through.
Big prepper event.
Big prepper event. And there was luckily someone, he's on here sometimes, called Mosby Man, who had a weather radio. We had a weather radio too, but it was late at night when that storm, and it took our tent. It soaked everything, but it took our tent, and the wind was so bad it would smack us. It would bend, it would flex and smack us while we were trying to lay down and sleep. And that's what woke us up. And that storm, they called it a microburst. 80-mile-an-hour winds and that lightning that's just like doesn't stop, just flash, 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 flash. It's scary, let me tell you. I did not like it. So let me see your comments. There's some thumbs up. Perhaps I dropped my phone. I've dropped my phone so many times, but I didn't drop it in water or anything like that. So I want to check in with you all because I haven't done a video in a couple of days. Find out how you guys are doing. We've been gone enough so when I go home, I'm not going to recognize all my plants. It's going to, weeds are going to be, super tall. Probably 100 eggs in my coop.
No, they're getting eggs.
They only got part of them though. See if the plants that I planted when Rain Cat sent me those zucchini seeds, see if those things have come up yet. Somebody got their Grace Acres got peas and potatoes planted. Yay! And there's Ma.
We have peas and potatoes planted.
We do have peas and potatoes planted, and the potato plants and the peas were both growing. We celebrated my father's 76th birthday today, said the Greek Homestead. Everything is okay. The same here in Southwest North Carolina. That's a pretty part of the state.
Yeah, it is. Remember when we drove through Tennessee and ended up there?
Yeah.
In those mountains?
Just really beautiful. Beautiful. But we knew we were in the wrong location.
We missed our turn. We wanted to hit 81 north and we went right past it. ended up in some big, beautiful mountains. And I said, I don't remember this from the drive down here.
Right? My egg business, says Greg Acres, is booming and I can't keep up. Do you give your dogs eggs? Sometimes.
Not often.
Not regularly.
Don't want to turn them into egg-sucking dogs.
They already are, but we're not, it's a...
Not trying to encourage it.
Right, and if we have to, we will certainly start. Spring cleaning the camper today. That's a great idea, Lambkeeper. Thanks, PJ, for the travel kit video. I never carry dental stuff. I've never had serious tooth problems. Well, you're lucky.
If you do, you'll carry dental stuff from then on.
Yeah, and those kits really are a good idea.
Wow, look at that view.
Wow. Wide open spaces. It's beautiful here, says Evelyn. Life is good, snow is gone, and the fish are biting, says Hunter Kurt in northern Idaho. What kind of fish do you fish for, Hunter?
I'm thinking trout.
Good morning, says the Sasquatch Northman. It's hard for me to read the screen. I guess I could put my glasses on.
You can also hold the phone.
I could hold the phone, but it would shake around a lot more.
Oh.
Rethinking that issue, someone said. Morning, Fox family, from John Ray.
Hey, John.
John's probably just finished plowing 1,000 acres. He's a big-time farmer. Does big plantings and gatherings. Are you done with that? Did you finish all that?
I think so. I'm not sure.
This morning, trout, bass, crappie, perch, and coquette.
Oh.
That sounds like a whole lot of fun, Hunter. Trump rally today. Whoa, where?
Let's go.
Wow. Here's our sponsor.
They can't see it, probably.
I put it up. You can sort of see it.
10 miles. Continue on to Kansas Turnpike North to I-70.
Oh. We're supposed to have your phone up and running so I can see the comments and I don't have to keep doing this. Andrew Stanek says hello. And what else do you guys have planned for the summer? Is anybody going on a vacation?
A vacay. Staycay.
When? On the garden and just saw the first asparagus poking up.
All right.
That is awesome.
I'd like to get an asparagus bed going.
I have some 3-year-old asparagus, but they were really small down in the orchard. And I'm hoping when I get back there, I'll see them poking up again. But I think I was supposed to prune them, and I didn't. Grace Acre says, no time or money for a vacation.
"20 years in the military, the only vacay we took was to northern Idaho."
That's right, where we almost got carried away by mosquitoes.
Oh my God, they make big mosquitoes in northern Idaho,
Yes, they do.
and lots of them.
And they like to bite. So there's a Trump rally. Pelosi's gone over to Kiev. What back to packing and cleaning, moving at the end of the month. Says Jesus. Oh, okay. We'll have a safe trip. Are you cooping? I guess I'll show you what we're looking at because our heads keep turning. Here.
It'll look better once.
Right.
It'll look better up there.
It's kind of wide open spaces where we are right now. We're selling plant starts and other goods at a couple local spring events here in the next week or so, says Lone Star Living. Hey, good job. I just finished a week of PTO today. Did so many farm projects. What's PTO?
Personal time off.
Personal time off. So Lone Star Living to getting after it. Got to get back to packing and cleaning. That's right, Jesus had said that.
I think 85 is probably a little bit too fast.
Yeah. Parapeace is what he said. Trump rally today. Parapeace. Love the countryside. I'd rather drive through that than the city. I'll say that much.
Oh, yeah.
So what else should we talk about? Should we complain about the service?
Look at this car. Wake up! This car came across the lane and almost hit another car in front of us.
Good gracious.
Like, what are you
wake up.
doing?
Get off your phone.
We're gonna see
Reorganizing
here.
the storage units from 3 into 2 and cleaning. Man, y'all are getting after it. I feel lazy. There's Jay Travers, Shalom. We'll be road tripping the end of June, see family in Wisconsin, then drop down to Fort Leonard Wood.
Fort Lost in the Woods.
My MP daughter is leaving the Army and we'll drive back to Utah together. She's getting out at a good time, so she doesn't have to go fight in Eastern Europe. And clearing Oak Grove off our little acre. If everything goes well, we'll be putting up an arch cabin next year. Oh, good. That's awesome. Jesus says, trying to come out of her. Haven't got a place to land permanently yet, but lease is up, so we need to be closer to where we want to end up. Hard to check out a place quickly when it's 4 to 6 hours away. Yeah, you'd probably have to go there over a weekend or something and look around and then go back. What about y'all? Any non-OPSEC projects y'all have planned? Garden and finishing up that shed in my orchard area.
And the sheep, we're gonna come up with a more permanent solution for the sheep. Right now we're moving them around with electric fence.
Right. We'll probably have a few more goats born on the land, but really most of what we're going to be doing, I imagine, is trying to get the garden up and running better and then get ready to harvest whatever gets ripe.
It is that time of year to like start hitting the garden.
Right. Right now we probably have raspberries. If they're not ripe, they're going to be soon ripe. And so finding where they are, because some are in the orchard and some are on other parts of the property. Get them, pick them, can them, make them into jam if we need to. And then it'll be a little while before the blackberries are actually ready. And I've got to keep taking care of the grapevines too, because it's been really wet in our area. Okay, here we go down here. Ma C says, had a large yard sale last week, got rid of a bunch of useless stuff, lightening our load to move. Good job, Ma C. The home market is slowing down with interest rates going up. The bubble might be bursting. If so, those that have waited to come need to take advantage of that.
Excuse me.
Said Lone Star Living. And then Grace Acres, I have a truckload of stuff to take to the church sponsored resale shop, making room for canned goods storage. Do you have a metal or shingle roof, and how does that affect rainwater collection?
Okay.
Left 2 lanes to continue onto Kansas Turnpike North toward I-70.
We have a shingle roof. I wanted a steel roof when we built our house, but I could not afford it. The main reason I wanted a steel roof was
For 50 miles,
for fire,
continue straight.
protection from fire. But like I said, we couldn't afford it, so I shingled it myself. there's a study out from some university in Texas looking at the effects of various types of roof, to include shingles and steel roof, and there was one more, maybe fiberglass, on rainwater collection. And there's no appreciable difference in any of them for as far as the quality of your water that you end up with. And so we have an asphalt roof, but it's interesting that you asked the asphalt shingle. We're actually thinking now about putting a white steel roof just right over top of the asphalt shingles, again for fire protection, because we have concrete hardy board siding on it, and also for heat reflection in the summertime. It's harder to keep our house cool in the summer than it is to keep it warm in the winter. And so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we saw a white roof on this trip, and we both were like, whoa, that makes a lot of sense if you're in a very hot area like Texas or Nevada or something like that, because it's going to reflect the sun and the heat more than any other color roof. And on that note, we also, I don't even understand why. I guess it's the aesthetic. It's the way it looks. The black shingled houses, when you're in a hot area, just seems like a really bad idea. I know people think it looks great, but it's going to make that house that much hotter. And if you have air conditioning, your air conditioner is going to have to work that much harder to cool that house down.
I don't think the average person cares.
I don't think they care, and I don't think they think about it. I think they think, wow, that looks cool. And so they buy those houses, and not this chick. No.
So my kids had these 20 years ago, and when you got them, when you put them in cold or hot water, the color would change on the car. But then when it dried out, the color would come back to the original color of the car. And so for all you engineers out there, somebody needs to invent a shingle that at like 55 degrees or something, the shingle turns black. And at 45 degrees, what are you doing there?
You're just talking.
At 45 degrees, the shingle turns white. No, black. Turns white when it's hot, black when it's cold. That's what it needs to do. Now, common response to that is you should have your attic adequately and separated from the house.
Right.
Sure. And that works really good when you have electricity to then pump cool air or warm air into that space. But for an off-grid living, it would be nice to have something like that.
All right, see what you guys are saying. Oh, PJ, thoughts on buying a tractor?
Yes, do it.
How's Jack doing for you?
It's one of our best things.
Yeah. Now, you got to understand, we have a pretty good amount of property, and our property is very rough and rugged and had nothing, no improvements on it at all. And so Jack has done all those geese have made for a lot of the heavy lifting and moving.
Like I'm getting ready when we get back to Shofar Mountain, I have to move a bunch of railroad ties. And in the past, I would manhandle them into the back of a pickup truck, take it to where I kind of wanted to be, and then manhandle them out. Now I'm just going to put the forks on Jack, lift them up, and put them where I want them.
And I have ideas for projects with Jack too. The fact that it's got the digging arm on the back, I forget. Backhoe really helps. We did use Jack for some trenching and some hole digging, and just a little bit of small pond making.
I brought dirt down for the raised bed.
He's
a scoop.
He's brought gravel down. Moving gravel around is easier with Jack. But if you have like 2 acres,
yeah, you don't need a tractor on 2 acres.
You might want to look at alternatives. You might want to look at an ATV or something like that.
That little tractor, that wasn't bad. It looked kind of like a big log riding
Yeah.
lawnmower. That was a pretty cool, but it was expensive for just a little tractor.
Right. Kubota does make a pretty small tractor, and it does have a backhoe and a scoop on the front if you want. And
It's a reach, I think.
but
right?
it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So you want to think about that if you have a small piece of property. But if you have a pretty sizable one, say 40 acres, you can use a tractor. Most folks are about the aesthetics, present company excluded. Alright. There's Linda Hipple. Shalom. I would like to read that study. Is that something you can post? I'm gonna have to go back and see what study you're talking about. Hello, Sister Kate BJF from MI Prepper and Oregon here.
And oregano.
I've been pumping water the last few days due to spring thaw and constant rain, hoping to get the coop ready soon so I can get chicks out of my living room.
Oh yeah, we've done that. Chicks in the living room.
They get so noisy
And stinky.
like week 2 and 3, and their wings start to get the real feathers and they start hopping out unless you've got a roof on it. Yeah, it's no fun having them in there for a while. Okay, so that comment we've already addressed. That one too. Only reason to have a black roof is if it's covered in solar panels. That's what I was thinking, solar panel shingles. We've decided on a blue roof, said the lamp keeper. Well, and if you're in a colder area, you want to go with that darker roof. Shalom, just got the notice. Y'all be safe. Check out the Tesla roof shingles that are solar panels. We just said that. Expensive, yes, but amazing, stealthy, and much stronger than normal shingles. Hey, Aid, suggestions for adding new chicks to the flock and at what age is it safe? Okay, so Grace Acres, you're smart to ask that question because you normally cannot just add any new bird to any older flock. And by older, I mean they've been living together as a flock
Established.
for a while. Yeah, established is a good word. You have to keep them in a separate container, like a just one of those cages you can buy at TSC, or a dog kennel, or something you make yourself out of screening that allows the birds to see each other. You can even section off part of your run now where your birds are now and just make it a small section with its own food and water and have your babies in there. And after a couple of days, maybe a week of them seeing each other, then you can blend them together. And there will be some pecking order stuff. The older established hens are going to let them know they're the boss, but they should not then gang up on them and kill them. But if you put a new bird in a flock and you don't let them size each other up first, you run the risk of the flock killing that new bird because they don't know that bird and they're suspicious.
They don't like outsiders.
Someone said tractor is definitely a labor multiplier. Love my John Deere 65. It's a big one and it does the lifting for me. Would love to have the backhoe attachment. Kubota works great on my property, 4.25 acres here, and he gave the size. Yeah, hello, Sister Kate, I'm on the road again. And there's Westhold Forge saying, hi guys. Okay. Oh, Sustainable Stewards is on here. Hi, Stacy. Battle Axe. I'm going to get this up off that stand for just a minute because I'm having a hard time reading the comments. The study that Pastor said he read about shingle versus metal roof.
Yeah, you just have to look it up. I have no idea.
Yeah, just Google shingle versus metal. Same. Chicks in the living room is no bueno. We got our barn outfitted for brooding, so never again. I no longer get your YouTube bell ring to let me know you are on. Looks like you're pretty wet too. That's just the camera. We're actually not in a fog. We're in the car.
Cheech and Chong.
Yeah. uh, Sustainable Steward. I do also put a notice up on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you might see that. All right. Safe journeys from Babylon of Vegas, says Just Bob.
Vegas. Ugh.
Yeah. Rock Lick Ranch says Shalom Foxes. And Dusty says greetings from Branson. Branson. Mark Chase says Shalom. Just got a stash of mason jars, says MI Prepper. Keeping empties from now on in case I lose power to can all in my chest freezer and fridge. Yeah, that's a good idea.
You said keeping empties from now on. What were you doing with your empties before?
That's a direct question for you, brother. Dusty, cat or something got to my bunnies last night. Woke up with no heads on them. That sounds almost like a raccoon.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't know if you guys have seen Janie Two Shoes on my channel. She's on here sometimes.
That sounds like a mafia name.
I know.
Janie Two Shoes.
Right? And for some reason I thought she lived in California, but she doesn't. She lives somewhere else. Might be Michigan. She had a bunny disappear out of a cage outside, and she put up a game camera, and a bear was coming around and took her bunny. So
A bear took my bunny.
someone else said it could be an owl. And my prepper said filling with meat. That's what you did with the empties? Oh, never had many spares. Always filled them up, running out of room now. Yeah.
It's an interesting thing when you go into Shofarian houses, we all have kind of the same stuff. And one of the things you see is cases of canning jars and lids and stuff like that. Over there in the corner or something.
So, Dusty, where were your bunnies? Do you have them in the, what do you call their cages?
Hutch?
Did you have them in a hutch with a door? Or were they like out in the backyard? Or raccoons are known for decapitation, says Evelyn Vincent.
Yep.
They certainly are. Grace Akers says my sister had weasels doing that to bunnies.
Weasels.
Yeah, weasels are ferocious. They'll kill a whole bunch of animals in a small amount of time. There's Gus JPS. Happy Sunday from Illinois. Canning is a game changer here. It sure is. It's a game changer for everyone. And it's been around since Napoleon's time. He was one of the first ones to want to try to have food that they carried with the army. Sadly, they weren't in a hutch last night. Kids had let them in the backyard. Yeah, and somebody figured out tasty bunny meat was available.
I'd make the kids deal with that dead rabbit.
We have 500 or more canning jars, said Landkeeper.
Yeah, that's a good amount.
Yeah.
That's like almost 2 a day.
Right? That's a year's worth, probably. There's C103, Shalom. He's on a short lunch break. All right. I am going to put this back up here because now my hand is getting tired from holding it. There we go. Can you see us and hear us? Just give a thumbs up. We should tell him a story.
You got to pay $10 a month to hear my stories on Patreon.
All right, Wes Holt said, I was at the hardware store to get a key made. Didn't want to run my card for just $1.50, so I found something to add. It was canning jars. I think that's a wise move on your part.
I tell you what, canning lids are a really good barter item too. They store forever, they're small, and they're going to be valuable.
That's right. So another question I'll ask of everybody. My sister had her kids clean up the bunnies. They never forgot to close the barn doors again, right? Are any of you all seeing food shortages at your local grocery store or supplies? I'm trying to remember what our hardware guy told us he couldn't get a hold of last time we were there.
hardware guy said that it was getting hard to get fertilizer. We asked this guy before.
Huh. So let's see what you guys are saying. For jars, canning lids made in America. Evelyn Vincent is saying. I think in our store it was pasta. It was very little pasta.
Cat food.
There was very little cat food, and they're having a really mixed kind of thing with their ice cream because they've had ice cream that they had all the time, and now it's like different companies. They're having to scramble. That's it. They're having to scramble to get ice cream on the ice cream shelves. Certainly not as full as it was 2 years ago. Feed from the feed store is touch and go, says Jay Travers. Pasta and chicken, Grace Akers says, in the grocery store. I only use canning for meat and condensed heavy meat products like chili, soup, gumbo. I will use them with oxygen absorbers for nuts and candies. Nuts last at least 6 years. Yes, some shortages here, Southwest North Carolina shelves are not as full as they once used to be. I haven't noticed many problems in the suburbs of MA. Is that Maine? Massachusetts?
I would guess it's
Mass. And that is our Alexandria Gordon. I pass a gallon of fertilizer per day, says pair of ears. Laugh out loud. Everybody does. See, that's the thing that the press is not talking about, that all of us homesteaders are like,
Yeah, but you're not going to do a cornfield out here by peeing on it. I mean,
but somebody in the 20s and 30s, before chemical fertilizer, farmers still fertilized their fields. They just mucked out their barn and spread that.
and we produce a lot more food now than they did then.
That is true. You'd have to definitely be local, and that's what sustainable steward is all about.
Yeah, if you produce your own food, that solves a lot of problems.
Solves a
and
lot
you
of
can
problems.
produce your own food
Or support your local farmer.
by peeing on his field.
Well, take your manure over to his field. I'm in Springfield, Branson. As an electrician, supplies are getting harder to get, like wires and components. I believe that. We don't really go into the store anymore. We do pick up orders. We haven't not got anything, but we do get different brands than we order sometimes. Evelyn Vincent says frozen foods seem to be in acute short supply or quite short supply. I don't buy frozen food, so it doesn't matter to me. Chicken.
And we don't even go down the frozen food aisle.
Yeah, I'm just not. It's just not my way. There's nothing wrong with frozen. A lot of frozen food is fine. Your peas and your corn and your beans and stuff. I just have never been a big one into that. Linda Hibble says chicken and frozen veggies is hard to get. My husband stole my phone and lied, said the lanekeeper. We're nearing 1,000 canning jars. That doesn't include the ones from his deceased aunt's house we have yet to pick up.
That's awesome.
That's a great amount. You might even be able to barter that sometime. Morning, Sister Kate and PJ, and that is Kentucky Survival 76. Mark says no shortages, but limits imposed. Really?
I heard Costco, we don't have a Costco membership, but I heard they're not letting you get as much of stuff as you want. And I've heard Sam's is limiting, I can't remember what they told me, rice, I think. You can only get so much rice a month.
Okay. MA is Massachusetts. There's a limit on how much flour, sugar, salt, and oil you can buy, so it's a Greek homestead.
Is that in Greece?
Yeah, that's in Greece. Yeah, because it's probably hard to grow wheat and sugar cane on an island. Fully stocked in South Ontario, Canada, prices are crazy. For jars are made in China and sold by an American company that is owned by a family from Ukraine. Seen a couple of interviews with them. Everyone I've seen using says they are great. My Costco has not had garlic powder for a month, says David Carter.
Garlic's easy to grow.
It is, and it'll keep going if you don't pick it too. We've got a bunch of it. What's on Ford says, yeah, I ordered stuff for work 4 months ago and haven't got it.
Wow.
Wires and components.
It's coming. It's coming.
C103 says, hey, Aid, everyone was asking about you last night. I think that's because Wes S. had a live stream going on. And there is Jana, wife of KC. Shalom. Jesus, I used them, was misinformed as to the manufacturer, said Linda Himmel. I guess you guys are talking about the 4 jars. I live in a big city in the South. We have everything in the grocery store. Only during the COVID lockdowns in 2020 did we have bare shelves. But to be fair, I live in a food jungle, not a food desert. Good planning on your part. There's McMikey. Shalom, y'all, on a beautiful day in the Missouri Ozarks. I keep frozen food for the teenagers, says Grace Acres. Okay. Over Yacht. I'm Andrew, 65 is my age. Alpha and grain jumping in prices here, as well as getting scarce. Jars are on the shelves here again. Right. Having trouble getting rice at Sam's, said Grace Acres. Sam's is limiting for sure, usually 2 per item, as I have seen.
What good is having a Sam's membership at that point? That's an honest question, because I thought the whole purpose of Sam's was being able to buy a lot of stuff in bulk.
Right. It was supposed to be a bulk food deal for you. Hunter Kirk says enclosed camper trailer 7x14 was $7,300 last year, and now they are $19,000. Same dealer and model.
Wow.
You're right, PJ. My Costco only let me get 1 50-pound bag of rice when I tried to buy 4. Ooh, and rice is not easy to grow. You gotta have a lot of water to grow rice.
Yeah.
It lasts forever, though. There's Grandma Ginger's farm. Good morning, y'all. Good to see you made it. Greece is 80% mainland, but when you use the land for solar panels and windmills, there's not much left for growing food. Yep. Still can't find Going Noah hoodies, looking to donate money to your gas fee, says Dusty. I think I've got super chat on this channel, but that's totally up to you, Dusty.
We have a PayPal account too. It's vikingservices@hotmail.com.
No worries. I haven't managed to purchase any, but we'll probably try them at some point, says Jesus. This is jars. Just because I'm trying to save my reusable lids for when I have no choice. And you know, girls and boys and everyone, you can use wax. Canning wax is what people used to use to seal the top of the jar. I remember you put about like a 1/4 inch of wax.
That's a different kind of canning though. You can't pressure can with wax.
No, you can't pressure can. That's for things like jelly. And then the water bath canning, you have to have the regular canning lids too. But you can dehydrate food. You don't need a jar for that. I'm seeing new gardens being plowed that never had them. People are catching on. Well, good. Storms today in the Appalachian foothills. Keep your eye on your local storm channels and stuff, because it really does help that you get a heads up if severe weather is coming your way.
I can't see out the mirror. Thank you.
Okay, and then Northeast Oklahoma and Northeast Arkansas, we have some food supply shortages. Saw lots of ammo on the shelves though, and that is Jetta. Excuse me. Grow wild rice needs less water and more nutritious, says Evelyn Vincent. In my nearest food lion, the only thing I noticed in short supply were cashiers. My mother having a hissy fit about no strawberry toaster strudel to be found. All right, thank you, Dusty. That is something that is, I don't know if that's being reported on.
What?
The lack of your
Pop-Tarts?
No, of your regular like clerk type worker people.
Oh yeah, there's job openings everywhere.
And this is not the first time he and I have said that when we've been out and about, but basically.
We're getting close.
Right.
Traffic.
We've been on 45 minutes. Okay, so we're in the live stream soon because we're getting into a section where we don't have a lot of coverage. But what I wanted to say is there's a lot of normal jobs, clerk type, helper, work in a store jobs available, and nobody wants those jobs. And that's going to affect things. When you go to a store and they don't restock the shelves, or you go to a restaurant and they don't wait on you and you sit there 40 minutes, your food's slow, the service is slow because they've only got one cook and one waitress, it's going to affect people. And I myself have not, I don't know where that's going. I don't know if that's going to continue, get worse, get better. Some of the people who were cleaning up in the area where we stayed last night were old, had silver hair, old, shuffling along. People like that can't do jobs like sweeping the floor and cleaning up and taking the trash out for much longer because they're just physically not going to be able to do it. So that's something for all of us to start thinking about. Are we, most of us are older people too, and we're ready to retire. So what are our grandkids doing? What are our children doing? Who is going to take those jobs? All right, y'all, we're going to sign off now just because it's that part. Thank you for showing up. Good to check in with you all, and hopefully I'll be doing some videos shortly. All right, bless y'all. Shalom. Shalom. Okay.